welcome along. It is my treat to be joined by Shane Warnie. How's isolation going? I noticed you didn't bother to have a shave before you rolled in today.
Well, mutual. You haven't had a shave. At least I trimmed underneath there.
Well, this is the first time I've seen anyone except my family, literally, for 3 weeks. How are you tracking with the whole situation locked up at home? You're a man that looks at positives, typically.
Yeah. I'm actually enjoying it. I mean, I don't enjoy what's actually happening. It's been a pretty scary time for everyone and, you know, everyone's trying to help each other and we're all in it together and we'll get through it. But, you know, you've got to try and look at the positives for it. And for me, you know, I started 1989. I first went to England to play cricket, which was 31 years ago. So I've basically been on the road for 31 years, never been in the same city for longer than a couple of weeks. So I'm using the positives as it's been fantastic to actually reset some goals of what else would I like to achieve in my life, really sort of address some business things and what's going on with a few of my business I'm in. And more importantly, and the most important thing, spending time with my family. It's been great to be face-to-face and just sit and talk. And my son lives with me full-time, so talking to Jackson about what it was like when I first played cricket, and he would ask me a question about what it was when you were playing footy, what was it like under training, and you were working? He said, what do you mean you were working when you were playing test cricket? I said, yeah. I was delivering pizzas on a Friday night when I wasn't playing cricket for Australia. It's pretty hard for anyone to comprehend that it's playing for Australia as an international sport and representing a country that you didn't have enough money. We only used to get, my contract I think was $3,000 for the year, that I couldn't afford to sort of live on that. So I delivered pizzas on a Friday night when I wasn't playing cricket for Australia or Victoria.
How many did you whack into the delivery? How many did you whack in Warnie?
I think I got 15 or 20 bucks for it, and I reckon the pizza was about 10. So I didn't have much left over, Howie, that's for sure.
Hey, there's so much to talk about, and we're going to go through some cricket, some general life and retirement. Before we get to cricket, there's so many rumours and legends that surround you. One is that you were a budding superstar for your much-loved St Kilda Footy Club. You played footy?
Yeah, I love footy. I'm not sure budding superstar was about right. Footy was my love. I absolutely love football. And during isolation, I've loved watching all the recall games or watching the commentators now commentate on old games. I've loved watching all the old footy matches growing up in the 70s and 80s like I did.
Who was your man? Who was your hero?
Jeez, there was a few. I used to love Durham. I used to love watching the 89 grand finals on the other night. Like, how good was that 89? How that wasn't number one?
Yes.
That should have been number one, the 89 grand final. It had absolutely everything. Bashing Biffo, smacking each other. Ablett kicking 9 in a losing grand final. Durham with his ribs and Dipper and Platinum. Anyway, so I've been loved watching that. And so growing up my whole life was just AFL football. That's all I want to do. And I was lucky enough to do okay. In a few things. I didn't really do anything at St Kilda. The under-19s I did okay. I think I kicked 60-odd goals one year.
What position?
Full forward, mate. Thank you. Yes.
No
Kick
doubt.
it to me, I'll kick the goals.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, so I played full forward down there. I played a game in the reserves. I was with the seniors training for a couple of months, but I just wasn't good enough. That was the bottom line. But it didn't mean my passion and my dream and my love was AFL football. Back then it was VFL football. That's all I ever want to do. So in 1988, after having a pretty good year of kicking 60-odd goals for the under-19s, I think I was the leading goal kicker or one of them that year. I was sort of thinking, well, OK, I've done pretty well. I've been with the seniors for a few months. I played a reserves games. I was sick, but no excuse, so it didn't really go that well. What's on for next year? I'm out of the under-19s. Now it's the seniors. Am I going to make the list? And then I got this letter saying your services are no longer required at the St Kilda Footy Club. And that's big for a kid that all he wanted to do was play football. So to have that dream shattered was heart-wrenching. You know, it was like, what am I going to do? You know, I did year 12, but didn't really interest me any.
How'd you go?
I passed.
Okay.
I think that was more or less they wanted to get rid of me rather than I actually passed. I think it was like,
let's get Warren out of the
Let's get this Warren out of school. So I don't think it was more like I passed. I think it was like, get him out. But I wasn't qualified in anything. I did a couple of semesters at Moorabbin TAFE doing accounting.
Accounting?
Yes. Won $1,000 off a bloke whose family owned a milk bar in Brighton too, playing poker. So that was okay. So I did all right there.
So you were debits and credits?
Yeah, contract law did me. Contract law was it. I said I'm not doing anymore. So I'd finished playing footy. I went to Moorabbin TAFE doing accounting. I then worked at Patterson Jewellery doing signet rings. So I had a sheet of gold or silver, and I'd hold it like that, and there was like an old sewing machine with this signet ring in there, and I'd have a pedal, and I'd go, and then I'd move it. So at this stage, I'm delivering pizzas. I'm working at for extra cash. I'm doing Patterson Jewellery, doing signet rings, and then I got a full-time job at 40 Winks delivering beds. So
Delivering beds?
yes, I was delivering beds.
Were you driving the truck?
Driving the truck, blue shorts, singlet. You know, I had all that sort of stuff on. So my life wasn't really going anywhere after I was pretty down the dumps, to be honest. And that my dream was shattered, and then it was like, well, what am I going to do? And then a friend of mine called Ricky Goff said, look, why don't you have a year off footy and come and play cricket in England? Because obviously their summer is our winter here. Why don't you have a year off footy and come and play club cricket in England? I went, I'm playing third or fourth grade at this stage.
In Australia?
In Australia.
So you're
in
playing
1988, 89, I was playing... Maybe played a game in the seconds, but mainly thirds and fourths.
You're kidding me.
No.
Batsman, bowler, all-rounder?
I was batting number 5 and 6 and bowling a few leggies. Like I was sort of like an all-round... Yes, 100%. And then from there, it was sort of like that next 12, 18 months, my life completely changed after I ended up not playing VFA footy. I was going to go to Sandringham and play VFA for Sandy. Didn't do that. Went to England and played cricket. I went over 79 kilo. I came over 99 kilo. I put on 20 kilos.
In how long?
Well, it was 6 months. And I said I wanted to learn. So the first time I got there...
That's 3.5 kilos a month.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It
20
is.
kilos, 79 and 99. And I got there and they said, oh, do you want a pint or a half pint? And I went, what? And then so there was a pint, which is what, 580 mils, 600 mils or whatever it is. And the half pint was like a pot. So, you know, we used to go down the Bowie pub and have a pot and all that. And they said, you Aussies can drink a bit, can't you? And I went, well, yeah, I don't mind a beer, mate. Well, then come and have a pint. So then it was like the ego. Come on, you've got to have a pint rather than a little half thing. So, okay, give us a pint. So I just sort of, because our pots are really cold, you sip it because you can't drink it too fast because it's so cold. Theirs, they have a real technique to drinking a pint. And I'm just sort of sipping my pint. And they say, you want another one? And I've still got half a pint to go. I was a bit like, oh, yeah, sure. Put it there. Suddenly you feel like, you feel bloated and everything. So we kept going, and then I switched to Bacardi and all sorts of Southern Comfort and all sorts of other stuff. I got to about 3 or 4 pints, and I thought, geez, that's okay, but I can do better than that. And they were all drinking 10. So I said, right, I'm going to get to 10 pints. 10 pints. By the end of this summer, I will get to 10 pints.
That's your aim.
That's my goal. And so I got to 10 pints, and then I was pretty solid for the last few months for 10 points. So anyway, but the cricket, the main thing was the cricket, and that was we're playing 5 days a week. So you remember in club cricket here in Australia, you might, for instance, bat on a Saturday. The next week it might rain. You might bat again the next Saturday. Then you might bowl. So it's once in a month. Besides a bit of training bowling, you in playing conditions, in match conditions, you're playing once in a month. Not all the time, but that's what could happen. Over there, you're playing 5 days a week. So your progress is fast-tracked. You're playing games, you're putting in different situations. What do I do now? He's running down at me, he's sweeping me, left-hander, right-hander, blocker, slogger. You're the overseas pro, pressure on you. You have to perform. They're paying you to go over. Not that it was very much. We lived in the pavilion up the top, me and Ricky Goff, so I wasn't getting paid a lot. But so you're fast-tracked. Yeah. So you do that for 6 months, 24 weeks, 5 games a week. You're playing 120 games. So that many games, 120, is like 3 or 4 seasons, if not more here.
Great moment here for Shane Warne. He's selected as a leg spinner.
Well bowled again. Well, it's a stiff examination for Shane Warne because he's up against the players who play spin bowling better than anyone else around world cricket at the moment. Not that they see all that much of it. They're generally up against pace. But the Indian players see a lot of off-spin and leg spin in their own country. It's a tough examination for Warne, and he's looking good so far.
So you obviously progress at a rapid rate. Famously, when you got picked to play your first Test match, you were quoted as saying, this time a year ago, I was having a pie and a beer in the grandstand a million miles away from this. Your first Test match, I think you played 7 first-class games. All of a sudden, you're playing and just, there's AB. So this is a hero. You're up against the Indians in your first Test match.
I think is that Sanjay Mandraker? I think it's Mandraker there. I'm not sure that's my
So
first
you've
ball or
come
not.
from the thirds or fourths a couple of years ago. All of a sudden, you're playing for Australia. The first thing that comes out is that haircut before you get onto your Test debut. Just stop there for a sec if you can. No,
gee.
don't stop there.
Was there any good deliveries?
Don't stop there.
Was there
Here
any?
we go. That's what I want to see. Forward a bit, forward a bit, forward a bit, forward a bit. Here we go. There.
Well-
Wow, that is magnificent, Shane.
Well, Howie, you can see here it's just below the collar.
It
so it's
is.
a fair way down. But it was down here.
Was it?
It was a long way down. And I used to have the hairdryer, the tails just...
Oh, that's the short ball again.
just straightening it out. And Bob Simpson said, look, you're playing for Australia. You can't have that. So I had to get a haircut.
Right.
So I cut it to just over the collar, the big mullet at the back, the mullet.
So what's this like? A couple of years ago, you're playing for St Kilda in the thirds, and
There should have been a wicket. Tubby.
He's up
danger?
on Tubby. Then you're playing a Test match for Australia.
Well, as you say, I think 1988, 89 summer I was playing 3rd grade. This is 91.
That's incredible.
So within 18 months, 2 years,
Well, there's Big Ravi.
I've gone from playing 4th grade, 3rd grade, a couple of games in the seconds, 1st grade, lose a final in 1st grade, St Kilda versus Richmond. Oh, good catch, Shane.
That would have been your first Test wicket.
That would have
So
been,
did
yeah.
you have any belief in your ability at this stage when you're up against the likes of Ravi Shastri?
No, look, you've got to remember, I think Test cricket, when you play at this level of international cricket, this is the first one. No, it's not. So when you play at this level, it's all about believing that you're good enough.
Yep.
And proving to people that you're good enough. So it's not so much about yourself at that stage. It's more about I don't want to embarrass myself.
Right.
And I just want to do okay. I don't want to drop double bounces and all that sort of stuff. And then as you sort of go on, then you sort of start to say, well, can I play at this level? I take a wicket.
First Test wicket, Dino.
I had none for, I don't know what it was, 150 or something, and finally get a wicket. And you've got to remember also, one of the hardest things about this Test match is I didn't know half the team. Never met them.
Really?
So
You go into the dressing room and
I
you
stood
don't know half
outside
of
the
them.
dressing room, just standing there waiting for the team to come in, because the summer before, or earlier that summer, I was pretending I was them in the backyard. I was pretending I was AB. Now I'm playing a Test match at 21 years of age. I didn't know them. Bruce Reid comes in. Oh, g'day, Bruce. Shane Warnie. Oh, g'day, mate. How are you? Jeff Marsh. How are you? Introducing myself. Craig McDermott. I've never met them. Hadn't played Shield cricket against them. Never met them. So it was really weird time not knowing that. It's quite daunting. And then go out and play Kapil Dev, Ravi Shah, Dilip Vengsarkar, Sachin Tendulkar, who I think was 12 at that stage in that Test match. I don't know how old he was, but
And still a star.
And got 100. So yeah, look, it was a really tough time, and you've got to remember that side had been together a long time, and they were all old school guys. I was the first young guy.
Here's that first Test wicket again.
Yeah, I was the first young guy into that team. Like the batting order was, I think, Marsh, Taylor, Boone, Mark Ward, Dean Jones, Alan Border, Ian Healy.
Experience.
So, and then you go Hughes, McDermott, Reid, myself. So it was all the old guys that had played for a long time together, and I was the first young guy into that. So I was like just sitting in the corner, but they were fantastic, and you know, some of the best times were those early years were just absolutely fantastic.
I'm going to move you through because the highlights of your career I can still pick. Like most Victorians my age, where I was when you were doing certain things. So I'm at the Lakes Entrance Caravan Park.
Yeah.
So was it against the West Indies 92, 93? So
Yeah.
it's the Christmas of 92.
Boxing Day 92, Christmas Test.
I'm with the Shepherd boys and they're like, I don't know about this Warne bloke. And then you did this against Richie and everyone's like, hang on, has that hit something on the pitch as it rolled along the ground? That, for me, you tell me, but that for me is when it was like, wow, this man is going to be a very successful operator in Test cricket.
Well, that was a significant wicket for me for a lot of reasons.
Oh, look at Richie, he's got no idea.
This West Indian team were the best side in the world. So just to backtrack a little bit before this delivery to lead you up to this, what actually happened that day. You remember we just showed you the footage of 91, 92, so that's 12 months ago. In that 12 months, I'd gone back to the academy to work with Terry Jenner. I bowled for 2 or 3 hours a day. I got super fit. I got nailed by TJ saying, he said, you went to Sri Lanka. You didn't deserve to go to Sri Lanka. You got smashed. Some of us all our life waited to play for Australia, and we only got a chance every now and then, and we were taking wickets, making runs. You didn't do anything. You're going on potential. So I got super fit. I got back down to 79 kilo, got really fit, trained hard, 2-3 hours a day bowling. So then I come up to the start of the Australian summer, 92, 93, and we play Western Australia at the Junction Oval. Australia are playing West Indies in the Gabba. And
First test.
The first test match. And Australia got them 8 or 9 down. They couldn't bowl the West Indies out on the last day to win the test. And Alan Border at the end of the press conference, at the match, said if we had Shane Warne in the side, we would have won this test.
Really?
And so for me, it was like, wow, the captain still believes in me. Now, I'd played a couple of tests against India, or 2 against India, I think. Then I played a couple against Sri Lanka, which I did okay. Then back to Australia, and they're going, well, you know, this guy hasn't really done anything in Australian level. I then take, I think, 6 for and 60. I make 60 with the bat and make 6 for on the last day when AB come out and said if we had Shane Warne to play, we would have won. I then get picked for the Boxing Day Test match. Everyone's saying this guy is not good enough for this level, hasn't done anything. It's time for him to deliver. First innings, I get, I think, none for 100, or maybe 1 for 100. Gets smashed around by Richie Richardson and all those, Desmond Haynes and all those guys. Comes to the second innings. So now you can imagine how I'm feeling. I've been smashed by the Indians first up, went to Sri Lanka when I shouldn't really deserve to go, got hammered over there, come back here, getting nailed about, you know, shouldn't be playing, not good enough. Suddenly Border comes out. I take some wickets at Shield cricket because I only played 3 or 4 Shield games. You said 7 first-class games.
First-class games.
But a couple of them were against Zimbabwe on a Australian second 11 team. So my confidence wasn't that great here, but I'd had a taste of international cricket and that against India and Sri Lanka, and I knew that's now what I want to do. My football's gone. You know, footy's gone. Cricket sort of found me. You know, it found me and said, this is what I want to do. Now I have to do everything I can and be the best I can. So you can't be the best you can until you do it. No matter what anyone says to you. People can tell you and motivate you and inspire you and all that, that's great. But no one can do it unless you do it. And once you've done it, then you believe.
So let's see.
So come back to Richie Richardson. So now, remember, none for 100. Come into the second innings. West Indies need 300 to win on the last day. Phil Simmons, everyone's going really well. Border brings me back on just before lunch. Bang.
Richie.
I've set him up for a flipper. So it's not just a leg break because that's my stock ball or a wrong or a toppy, which are easier to bowl. This is the hardest delivery for me to bowl too. So it's not so much I landed a good one. I landed the hardest ball I could bowl, and I knocked over the skipper, Richie Richardson. And now I'm saying, right, the adrenaline is absolutely pumping. I've just knocked over Richie Richardson with a flipper.
Yeah.
You know, I've just got Keith Arthurton out. I've now got Carl Hooper out.
Hooper.
And now I'm starting to go through, and suddenly, you know, everything's starting to work. They're hitting them in the air to the fielder. I'm setting them up. I'm thinking completely different. Rather than embarrassing myself and completely different, I'm now thinking, right, higher and wider, get him driving. I'm starting to think about how to get a wicket, not just bowl a ball and hope they hit it up in the air. I'm understanding it a little bit better, and now I want to show off my skill. How far can I spin it? Set him up. And this day for me, in front of my family, my friends, all the people I've grown up with, and remember, this is still only 92.
Yeah.
3 years ago, I was still playing third grade.
It's got it.
Now, so all the Saints boys were there, all my mates were there. We win the test match. We're 1-0 up. I've taken 7 for 52 in a ground I played footy on a few years ago at the MCG.
They were celebrating like nothing else in the Lakes Entrance Caravan Park, I guarantee you.
Forward, he's bowled him. That has just beaten the outside edge. It also kept a little bit low, but what a wicket this is for Australia.
Stumped, yes, beat him. Beautiful piece of work by Healy. That's fine bowling by young Shane Warne.
Oh, Carl. Beaten off the pitch by Shane Warne.
Catch, and he's hit it straight to David Byrne at mid-wicket.
In the air, gone. Caught it short extra. Out for a pair. And 5 wickets to Shane Warne. And straight to slip. That's the end of him. Well bowled, Shane Warne.
That could be the end of the Test match. 7 wickets for Shane Warne. Big Merv's got great hands. He won't miss it. And there it is. A great victory for Australia and a tremendous day's work for Shane Warne. His best bowling ever in first-class cricket. And what a time to do it. And what a place to do it in front of his own crowd here at the MCG. Congratulations from all round, and so it should be.